Have you ever looked around your house and said to yourself, "Holy crap, where did all this stuff come from?" Hi, if we've not met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy, and today I want to talk a little bit about some particular mindsets that can make it really tough for us to get rid of some of the stuff in our house. First off, let's start with a definition that I'm going to use all the way through. People may define clutter in different ways, but my definition of clutter is this. Clutter is anything that you don't use, that you don't need, and that you don't love. Now, the truth is that many of us have too much stuff in our homes. Things have been affordable, they've been easily accessible, and it's been super easy to walk down an aisle in some place and throw items into that cart and check out and bring them home and put them around and have that sense of, it's almost like we were hunter-gatherers out and we'd brought home something, some great big prize. The problem is that stuff that we bring home or that has been given to us or inherited stuff, at some point we look around and realize, I've just got too much. Now, sometimes we have some very physical reactions to clutter. Sometimes they're emotional reactions. Sometimes we may look at all the stuff in our house and our stomach may kind of, begin to churn a little bit. We may kind of feel a little sick to our stomach. We may find ourselves kind of clenching our body up a little bit because we kind of feel like we're just drowning in stuff. We may get that emotional feeling like I'm just kind of drowning in it and have this claustrophobic reaction to it. We may also feel a sense of disbelief when we're thinking to ourselves, how did I let this happen? Where did it all come from? We may even end up being angry with ourselves, thinking, I promised myself I would not do this again, and here it is, I've let it happen again. We also may be overcome with this feeling of, I'm going to toss everything. I'm going to go through every drawer, every cupboard, every closet, and I'm going to toss everything out and get rid of it. And then our more rational side takes over and we say to ourselves, wait a minute, if we get rid of absolutely everything, then we might accidentally get rid of something that we use or that we need. And then we'll have to go buy another one, and that's a waste of money, so that's stupid. Or maybe the biggest fear and concern is that we will accidentally get rid of something that we truly love. Well, there are 6 particular mindsets that if we can learn to recognize them in ourselves and then learn to deal with them, that can help us get the clutter under control. The first mindset that may be giving you trouble is this one. I paid for that. Now, how many times have you heard someone you know say, well, I'm not going to get rid of that after all. I paid perfectly good money for that. Or you may have realized that you've said that to yourself. Maybe not in those exact words, but pretty close. Here's the thing. We feel like by getting rid of something that we spent good money on, we feel like we're being wasteful. But we're not being wasteful by getting rid of something. If we wanted to consider it wasteful at all, it was wasteful when the purchase was made, and it probably wasn't even then, if it was something that you used, needed, or that you enjoyed and that you loved. But the money is already gone. That's the fallacy here with this particular mindset. Keeping something around just because you paid for it already doesn't put the money back in your bank account. It doesn't mean that you're any richer, anything else. It simply means that the money you have already spent is tied up in an item that is now tying up space in your house. And if it's an item that you no longer use, need, or love, then it fits the definition of clutter. And honey, it don't matter how much you paid for it. Okay? It's still clutter. It can be expensive clutter. And I've seen and dealt with some expensive clutter. But it's still clutter. So don't keep something just because you paid for it and you feel like you have to because you spent good money on it. Mindset problem number 2 is this. It's one of a kind. Well, my question to you in that case is it really? I mean, really? Now, granted, you may have some unique pieces. You may have commissioned a piece of art or a piece of, sculpture or something in your home. You may have something that someone created and designed and made for you, a homemade gift, a craft item of some kind. So you may have some, but if we're honest with ourselves, most of the items in our home were mass-produced and bought by millions of people, in the country, around the world, potentially. Most of the things are not one of a kind. And even some of the items that we do have in our home may be one of a kind, But we still need to ask ourselves the question, do I use it? Do I need it? Do I love it? I'll give you an example here. I had a napkin that my step-grandmother made. I think I've talked about it in another video. But just because something was made especially for you, if you don't use it, need it, or love it, it's time to let that go. Most things in our home are not really one of a kind. And even if they are, we do not have to keep them any longer once they no longer fit our needs or suit our taste. Okay, mindset number 3, and this is probably one of the biggest ones for most people, and it's this. But that's sentimental. I can't get rid of it. I don't know a person alive who has not thought or said something just like that. I can't get rid of that. My Aunt Peggy left that to me. I can't get rid of that. That was my Nana's. And so we keep things that were given to us by people that we loved or that we inherited after they were gone, and we feel like we've got to keep that item forever and ever, amen, right? We feel guilty if we get rid of something that's sentimental. It's like we feel like we're being judged, that if we let go of an item, that people will think we didn't really love and honor that person like we feel like we need to, and like we truly do in our hearts. But the people and the memories and the love is not tied up in a physical item. Those feelings are within us. And just because you let go of an item does not mean that you are disrespecting the person or saying that they were unimportant or irrelevant or any of those kind of things. You are simply saying that that item is not that person, and that I can remember them and cherish and love them in my heart where it really belongs anyway. And by letting that go, I am not being a bad person. We do not have to buy into that it was sentimental, and so the guilt makes me hang on to that from now on. Here's another way to view the items that you may have been given by loved ones or that you may have inherited that are sentimental. By passing them along to someone who can use them or who needs them or will love them, we're giving those items that were frankly becoming a burden to us potentially. We're allowing those same items to bless somebody else. And in some ways, what better way is there to honor somebody that we loved and cared for than to let their item, which may have begun to feel like a burden to us, why not let it bless somebody else? My feeling is that my ancestors, my relatives, that would make them pretty happy. If you're finding any of these suggestions helpful, please take a second and hit the like button below and consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate it. Mindset number 4 is this. Well, it fits the space. How many times have we moved into an apartment or a house and, what we already owned did not fit exactly. The measurements of rooms and walls are never the same when we go someplace new. And so we may have looked at a section of wall and thought, oh, that needs a this on the wall, or that needs a that, sitting in front of it, whatever it be. We got something that precisely fit a particular space. Next time we move, it may not fit. But for right now, we're in the place where things fit, and we have this feeling that, well, I can't get rid of that. That fits. It's funny. We go to stay in a hotel, and we walk in, and walls are not overly adorned, and there's not stuff on every surface and in every drawer. And we go in and we look around, and we just kind of feel like, this is nice. And if we're honest with ourselves, part of the reason we get that feeling is because it is not so cluttered up. It feels spacious. We feel like we can breathe and we can enjoy what is there instead of feeling like the walls are closing in because there's something on every wall. Here's the truth about a home. It cannot feel spacious if there's no space. A 5th mindset is, but it's all the rage. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. We are all influenced by other people, whether it's our best friend, whether it's our parents, whether it's a pin on Pinterest, whether it's a photo in a magazine or a book or on a website, or whether it's one of those home decor shows, we are all influenced by what other people are doing and what's trendy and what's in vogue and what's in style. We all are. Okay? There's no crime in admitting it, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that I'm the same way. I think most of us are if we'll just be honest with ourselves. But just because it's trendy or in style or all the rage doesn't mean that we have to keep it in our home once it is past the point of being useful, needed, and loved. It's okay to let things go. Your style doesn't have to be the same as everybody else. And something that you brought home at one point filled with excitement and all that because it made you feel like, all right, this looks great. This is, keeping my home up to date. Once that initial stuff is past, it is okay to let it go. And then finally, mindset number 6, and this one is one of the hardest ones for me, is this item means that I have arrived. Now, if we look around our homes, the stuff in them tells a pretty big story about us if we'll think about it. That trophy over on a shelf may represent something that we won at some point in time. That plaque hanging on the wall may represent some achievement or some recognition that we worked really hard for and that we earned and that we finally got and that we are so proud of it because we worked so hard for it and we craved the recognition. Physical items in our home may be things that we had to work really hard and save up a lot of money to purchase. And so when we look at that item, we feel like, wow, I finally got the whatever it be. Because it was something that you had to work really hard for. And so it represents the achievement of a goal and the end product of really hard work. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in an accomplishment or being proud of an achievement or being proud of some hard work that you've done. There is nothing wrong with that. But again, once an item is to the point where you no longer use it, need it, or love it, just because it represented something in the past does not mean that we have to keep it now. The items in our home tell a story about us. They may tell a story about our past. They may tell a story about ancestors and people that we have loved in the past. It may talk about past achievements and recognitions and things that we valued once upon a time that were so important to us that we've kept. It may tell stories about our present and what we currently are focused on, what we're interested in now, and what appeals to us in the moment. The things also may tell a story about our future aspirations, the things that we hope to have and that we hope to achieve and that we hope to do or to be or to accomplish. There's nothing wrong with that. Any house you walk into, if you look around, is going to tell a story about the people who live there. But once the things in our home get to the point that they have met that definition of clutter, that we no longer use them, need them, or want them, then it is time to start letting some of them go. And if we can get past some of these myths and deal with the items and get rid of all those other mindsets, we can take great steps to make our home a place that we love and enjoy and get that feeling in our own house. I'm curious if you have dealt with any of these particular clutter mindsets. Or if you haven't, maybe there's been some other mindset that you've struggled with that I've not thought about. If so, please leave me a comment. I would love to know. And in the meantime, go tame some of your frenzy.